Today we're going to make a large beach bag made from my Floppin Fun fabric from Timeless Treasures. One of the great things about this bag is that it can hold 4 large beach towels. As you can see, got some big ones here. Great for going to the pool or the beach. Got some nice grommets here to pull the bag tight. Another fun thing about this bag is that you can reverse it for a more neutral print, kind of the sandy beach feel, and it has 2 pockets to put flip-flops, sunglasses, a wallet, and it has a handy reversible shoulder strap on both sides. And now we'll move on to making this great bag. Okay, so our first step is cutting out the strips to make the outside of our bag. We will be cutting 7-inch by 22-inch printed strips and attaching them to 5-inch by 22-inch solid strips. I've alternated my patterns and my solids together. We will now sew 3/8-inch seam, iron them opened, and the next step will be fusing to the back a fusible fleece to make the bag a little bit heavier. Hi. So now we're going to take our strips of fabric, which equal 22 by 42.5. We have cut some Pellin fusible fleece, the same size, and we've pinned it down so that it doesn't slip. And now we are going to fuse the fabric onto the fusible fleece. Make sure your iron setting is at wool and steam. If you're planning on doing just a light fusing, which is what I'm going to do, you just need to hold it down for a little while. If you're planning on doing a stronger fuse, you would want to get a damp cloth and put it over the top of your fabric. This will help firm your bag using this fusible fleece, or you can use some interfacing, and that will help firm up your bag as well. And we'll be moving on to the next step shortly after I finish this. Okay, now that I've secured the handle with an X and a box around the whole canvas handle, I will be creating a stitch along the edge of each strip. After I sew along the edge of each strip, I will be adhering both sides together, sewing them together. From there, we will be making the bottom of the bag. Okay, so we've sewn the 2 ends of the bag together, sewn the handle on, and when measuring, this is now a 42-inch circumference. Therefore, the bottom of the bag will be 14.5 inches. We have found a 12-inch bowl, which gets us almost all the way there. From there, I will be using the compass to add the extra amount to the bottom, making it a 14.5. So I carefully draw the circle of the bowl all the way around. Along with this, we will be adding the Pellin fusible interfacing to the bottom to make it stronger. After we continue drawing the circle, I will be snipping every 1 inch, a quarter at the bottom. This will help secure the circle to the bag itself. Okay, we'll be moving on to the next step shortly. Hi, okay, so we've cut out our circle and I have adhered some of the interfacing to the bottom of the bag. I have snipped along the edge of the side of the bag, and now I am attaching with a pin the edge of the bottom to the edge of the sides. I'm slowly going to sew along a 5/8 to 3/4 inch bottom, and we'll be seeing you soon after this is finished. Okay, so now I have attached the bottom to the side panels, and I've done a fun wave stitch to kind of firm up the bottom. I recommend doing this along the sides too if you would want. And now we're going to be moving on to the interior. Okay, so for the interior, I decided to do a different configuration. I wanted it to be in a more tan, sort of sandy look. So I cut strips that are 8 3/4 by 22 and the same original 7-inch print by 22. I also thought it would be nice to do a pocket. So I cut a piece of material that was 14 3/4 by 8 1/4. I adhered some interfacing to one side to firm it up, and then sewed the top. Next, I will do a thin stitch along the edge, and then I will sew it along the side and bottom to 2 of the strips. From there, I will finish completing sewing all of these strips together, and will then follow you to the next part. Hi, okay, now we've sewn all of the interior strips together. The pocket has been sewn in with the strips, and I've sewn a seam down one of the strips to make 2 pockets. Now I'm going to add the trim to the top, which will be attached to the exterior as well. I have folded over a 1/2 inch seam and ironed it down, and now I'm going to pin the other wider side, right sides together, and sew a 1/4 inch seam to the interior. This piece is 1.5 inches by 42.5. Make sure when you're sewing your strips together that you always iron the seams open for a smoother look. And we'll be moving on to the bottom next after we sew the 2 pieces, the 2 ends of the interior of the bag together. Okay, so I've now sewn my interior bag here, and I have my exterior bag. I'm going to turn my interior bag inside out. I have trimmed along the edge of the circle to remove some excess material, and I will be slipping the interior of the bag into the exterior. Now I'm going to be attaching a handle so that this is a reversible bag. So I'm going to make sure that my 2 tan areas are lined up, and we will be taking the trim, folding it over, and then attaching it to the exterior. I'll be doing a single stitch on the exterior, and make sure that you pin everything well here, because this is one of the final steps, and we'll see you shortly.
Go ahead.
Okay, so now I've sewn the inside to the outside. I have ironed the trim over 3/8 of an inch. I've trimmed along the edge of the exterior of the bag, and now I'm going to fold over along that stitched line and sew the final edging of the exterior to the bag. And our final step will be adhering the interior handle so that your bag will be reversible. So I've pinned the trim, and I'm now doing a stitch along the edge of the trim to finalize the 2 pieces coming together. The final part of this bag is adding the grommets. I went to a local fabric store and bought 7/16" grommets. Cut little holes measuring 5 inches apart and 3 inches down, and then the whole kit comes complete. You have the rubber that goes on the bottom. You have the piece that sits on the underside of the fabric. You put the top part of the grommet on, and then you hammer down, and it secures the grommet to both sides of the fabric. Then you just buy some rope and some pulls if you would like, and close it, and there you have your beach bag.